Coming up, I've put together a bunch of the best moments from throughout the year from All About Android. It's our Best of 2020 episode. All About Android is brought to you from LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure that they are by making access and authentication seamless, whether your employees are working in the office or remotely. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Welcome to All About Android, episode 504, recorded on November 17th for Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020. Your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell, and I'm sitting here all on my lonesome, just sitting here in my holiday sweater, just surrounded by neckties with gingerbread men. And where's the other one? Oh, yeah. Santa Claus with a blinky light, if I could figure out how to do it. I'm so unprepared. Oh, there we go. See, the problem is now this thing's going to ring for like ever. And it's so delightful sounding, don't you think? Nothing says Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays like ear-piercing computerized music. All right, I'll throw that over there. Welcome to the Best of 2020 episode with the strangest opening ever for All About Android. What a year it has been. So in some ways, this intro is probably very apropos. Wow, crazy year. Never in a million years did I ever think that I'd be podcasting in the corner of of our bedroom at our home for the majority of an entire year. But that's exactly what happened here in 2020. We all made do with what we had. And we hope that you've enjoyed the show along the way. Of course, TWiT is dark this week. Everybody's kind of off on their holiday break, including me and Ron and Flo. We're all doing our own thing. So in place of a live show, we always like to bring you a best of 2020. And that's what we've got right here. We've taken some time. I've gone through a lot of old episodes throughout the year and picked out some moments that at least kind of put a smile on my face. That seems to be how I like to do the best ofs. So I hope you enjoy this collection. There's some funny moments. There's some just like notable moments. A nice mixed bag of moments from the year 2020, starting with this first clip. Anyone who's watched or listened to this show long enough knows who Mateo Doni is, a frequent guest, one of the most frequent guests on the show, by the way. I looked it up the other day. It's kind of crazy how many times Mateo's been on. But there's like this like rivalry thing between Mateo and Ron in the sense that Victor likes to sneak Mateo on the show even when Mateo isn't on the show in some way, and Ron always reacts to it. And that's exactly what happened in this first clip. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards. Hey!
Happy birthday, Mateo. G and GOAT. What does that stand for?
You know how he always says GG&G.
Oh,
Team
goat.
GG&G.
But you put the periods in between the GOA and T of goat, so it kind of threw me off a little bit.
Greatest of all time.
Oh.
I mean, well, you know.
Happy birthday, Mateo.
Yeah, happy birthday. Oh,
hi, I'm Flo.
Okay. We probably should have gone in a different order.
Yeah.
This is all Victor's doing, by the way.
Happy birthday, Mateo.
Mateo's Lady Candace made him a raspberry chocolate cake from scratch, and it looked delicious from what I saw.
That's
social media.
Delicious raspberry chocolate cake.
Mm-hmm.
We should all
fresh raspberries intertwined in the middle there.
Man, that sounds delicious.
Yeah. Let's talk about Android.
No, let's talk about Mateo.
Desserts.
I'm actually okay.
Desserts or Android?
Cake. There you go.
Mateo, by the way, will be on soon, so you don't have to wait very much longer to get your goat.
He's coming for the arrival of my child. Like, this is all perfectly planned. So
that kind of sounds menacing. He's coming for the arrival of your child. Like, what is he about to do? We love you, Mateo. Happy birthday. And by the way, right before we came in here for the show, I saw that there's some breaking news. Why don't we fire it?
Sorry, I don't have the breaking news by itself.
So I'm sorry. Wait a minute here. You spend all that time for Mateo goat stuff, and you don't have the breaking news bumper loaded.
We don't have the
I had the other breaking news, but it's like
we can't. Yeah, I know about that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Victor, now I was just gonna say, Victor needs to do a dramatic music and say breaking news.
Okay, Victor, go. There we go.
I spent all my time preparing for Mateo's birthday that I forgot about breaking Android news, but here's Android news.
That works.
Breaking
all right.
News.
All right.
Perfect.
We'll give you that.
I was bummed I had to miss last week unplanned because I was excited to do the show with Ant, so I'm excited to be back.
Yes.
And
good
even
to see you,
more,
Mr. Richards.
Likewise. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm even more excited because one of my favorite guests, who always brings us the best treats, Mr. Duncan Jaffrey, is here.
Yeah.
And it's that time of year,
It
right?
is.
So you are in Spain now, right?
Oh, look at that.
Coming to you from suspiciously sunny at 4 a.m. in the morning, faux Spain, with sangria
Sangria.
and jamon in hand.
Come on. Yes.
You are a good man. Look at that.
Now, I brought some for everyone, of course. So
Oh,
there's that,
thank you.
Yeah. If you
Have a
can't
bite,
be
take a glass.
if you can't be at Mobile World Congress, you can bring Mobile World Congress to you.
Yeah. So you just went to the grocery store and they had ham on just waiting for you, or did you go to Barcelona, pick up ham on, fly back home?
The drive to the specialty butcher to get that was almost as far as Barcelona from Brisbane, but
But you made it happen, and we appreciate that you go the distance for this show, Duncan.
it's the little effort that makes the difference.
It was great to have you back here. Of course, you were going to be going to Mobile World Congress. Then everything with the coronavirus kind of started bubbling up. Mobile World Congress, as it stood, was canceled. There's still stuff happening in Barcelona, but you kind of got out of it, and it sounds like you're moving this weekend, so that was probably not a bad thing. You get to help your wife out with the move.
Yeah, the stars aligned.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. And I'm calling this Mobile World Congress by email now. I always get a lot of email when you're registered for these events, and then I think I can multiply that by 10. Every single stand pitch that you may have got walking around, you're getting via email now. And it's a quite overwhelming cacophony of assault of all these different emails from stands you quite often would walk past quite quickly and not make eye contact to now they're attempting to contact you through other mechanisms. And it's a bit sad for some of those smaller vendors who would have caught some interest. It's also interesting getting so much via email because I'm probably seeing a few things I wouldn't have on the floor, but I can't report on them without being there, seeing it, touching it, talking to the people.
Right.
Totally. Yeah. When I wonder next year when it happens again, will you prefer the in-person walk past the booth approach versus getting the emails and being able to filter them as they come in? What do you think?
I actually have found interesting that we get some beforehand, but not as many.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to get everyone else is going to hate me for this, but maybe see a little bit more before, or have a way of curating what's going to be there to plan your journey a bit better. I've always found the MWC app, which you can technically use to do that, very difficult to use. And so you sort of break your day into core coverage, and then hall coverage, where you break the team up and you each take a hall and you try and get through it. And there's 8 halls throughout the whole complex. And it does take at least 3 days for a team of 4 to hit that place properly. And even then, you're scooting past some people at high speed.
Yeah.
I love the strategic operational approach you take.
Yes,
like the number
totally.
of people per hall. Like, man, I really kind of wish I can go. I hope someday I can go and because I've experienced CES, I've experienced E3. Like, I've done a lot of the domestic tech shows, but I would love to do the Mobile World Congress just to see this depth and breadth of the experience that you're describing. So.
Don't feel bad. The CES app is pretty craptastic too. So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Let me make the offer, Ron. If you ever want to go, we go every single year. You can be an honorary Osdroidian. We'll get you a pin and a shirt, and you can be part of the team.
Yeah.
That's great. And that's so kind of you to pay for my way and for my flight and everything. That's great. And my Hamon budget. I really appreciate it.
I heard him say it.
Yeah, you heard it.
Leo and Lisa, are you there?
Yeah, they're not listening right now. They've turned off for just this portion of the show. Well, we are stoked to have you on. Always great to get you on, Duncan, and happy you could join us today. And please don't let us stop you from drinking your sangria. Make sure, because I wish we had sangria here. I'd probably drink a glass of it as well. Pretty awesome stuff.
So I thought it'd be kind of fun if we would try and do something different on the show today. Usually we have multiple cameras. Usually we have multiple cameras in a studio, but we're not in a studio. I'm at home. So what I'm going to do very quickly, just because we have to do a little technical producing here, is I'm going to flip cameras.
Should we vamp while you? We should vamp while you do this.
What's gonna happen when the screen goes dark?
What I like is that this is Flo not only providing really strong editorial content here, but also some tech ops. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty with USB cables and plug things in and out as needed. And potentially adjust settings in Skype, because Skype likes to pretend like it knows exactly what you want as soon as you plug a device in, which is something that we like to laugh about.
Yeah. Doing this stuff on the fly is amazing. I mean, just like I've tried doing even basic stuff on the fly, doing live with what ODB, I think it's called. Yeah. And I've tried to even just play intro music while I'm talking, and it was always a dumpster fire. So just the fact that you're even trying this, I gotta tell you, when it comes.
When it comes to cameras and microphones, I'm afraid to even touch the USB connector. I've got everything working. Just leave it be.
It's working.
Oh my word!
Working. Just leave it alone. Yeah, totally. Yep. But we got you back, Flo. It sounds like, anyways.
There we go. Look at that. Cool. Well lit as well.
Yeah. That is the sunlight. Thank you, California.
Oh, wow, look at that shadow. Flo, can you turn down the pink?
I cannot. I can't do that, Ron, because everything is physically pink in this room.
For audio listeners, Flo has switched to a second camera that is on the Oppo X2 Pro box, but it is sitting on a lovely desk that is made up of light pink and dark pink, what look like bears and foxes, next to a hot pink key mechanical keyboard. So
there's Corby, which you got for me.
I did buy you that. That was much more expensive than it should have been. That key that I bought for you. Just so use your mind's eye. Try to picture a light pink field of dark pink bears and foxes, and a phone box sitting on top of it. Flo, take it away.
All right, so I brought for you a literal hands-on, because all I can do with this camera is go hands on it.
How do I put this delicately? I like Ron, have been very nervous about this transition, primarily because, and I think a lot of people fall into this category. I've seen a lot of it on the internet, and it just in general in technology, change is hard, right? And I hate that I fall into that category because I like to embrace change in my life. But when I've used an app like Google Play Music since 2011, literally since day one, got in there on the, $7.99 train from Google I/O and have ridden it all the way to here. It makes me a little nervous to think about changing to something that's very different. And I know I'm not alone. What do you say to people who are in this position, who have in some ways kind of made up their mind that boy, it's not going to be good enough for me, and I'm really, really worried? What would you say to someone in my position, in their position, to kind of help them to kind of give this an actual shot, to really give it a true shot? What would you say?
Yeah, so I am of course I'm biased in a number of different ways, but I as much as I wish I could make folks realize, I helped build Google Play Music from the start. I had my entire MP3 collection up there. I started using that subscription service and had years of listen history on it. I got to believe that I was one of the most resistant to change of anyone. Honestly, I really have not opened Google Play Music as a personal user this year, since we really built those migration tools internally, starting at the beginning of this year. We've just reached kind of the feature parity of nearly everything that are kind of standard user experiences on Google Play Music. There is there's a bunch of great new stuff on YouTube Music. I mean, this is the hard thing. I think people may have dived in 4 years ago when it was kind of a music lens over YouTube. Maybe they picked it up 2 years ago when we launched the official, the more official premium music service version of it. But we were missing some of the features they expected. I really think folks should, for one, we want everyone to hit migrate, and we're going to give people plenty of time to play with the two apps and get used to it. But I think there's really a lot to love post migration. All your stuff is there. We've added lyrics, which was like years of being our top feature request on Google Play Music. We let you seamlessly switch between songs and videos. We let you build off of, the corpus you expect from a premium music service, plus the really broad corpus of YouTube. We've got all the thousands of amazing program playlists. Our offline experience is great. Our search is super smart. I mean, and the development speed is just on fire right now. In the last 2 weeks, we launched lyrics. We launched a new playback page. We launched this new explore section that lets you kind of browse the full catalog of music that we have. We launched a new library model that'll make Google Play Music users feel more at home with the way the library works. And so, it's just the pace has been really exciting. And it used to be like, can we get to feature parity? And now I feel like we're just launching things that Google Play Music users have been asking for. And so we're really excited that we're at that point in time.
I think that's a really great point that you mentioned, because I know I fall into that category, right? Every step of the way, there's an update to YouTube Music. And I mean, especially being that we do what we do here, I feel it's imperative, to check it out and everything. And I go in there and I make up my mind like, after however long I spend with it, now I know how I feel about this. But when you're talking about feature parity, really at the end of the day, that's kind of the holy grail as far as taking the features that people loved out of Google Play Music and bring it over to YouTube Music. There's not a whole lot to complain about there as far as lack of features. It's just kind of the approach and the aesthetic is different. And so in some ways, the kind of the reliance on or the emphasis around recommendation engines is definitely a little bit different in YouTube Music. So it's kind of getting used to that. Your weekly source for latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I am the faithful Ron Richards.
And I'm also the faithful Flo.
We are faithful.
We're all faithful.
Red Zion.
We're faithful to the Android.
Android will never leave you.
Nope.
We are faithful to the very end. For you. Never say never. There is an alternate timeline where suddenly one of us ends up buying the iPhone SE 2020. It's possible.
Yeah, very alternate timeline. That's like
That's a great question. Away. What would it take for you to jump from Android to iOS?
Man,
like what's the one like? I mean, I asked that question not having to answer myself. I have no desire to. I want every time I use an iOS device, I want to throw it out the window. But I wonder what would be the thing that they could dangle at us that would make our lives easier or better.
I can't tell. I can't say that right off the top of my head. I could come up with a thing that'd be like, if they do that, I'm out.
Right.
I think at this point I'm kind of all in. Like I've pushed the
chips all the way in.
The chips all the way in, and like I'm committed. Like I kind of have no choice at this point. It's kind of what I do.
I will also say I've drawn lines in the sand saying that if they do this, I'm out. And then the company has done that, and I've still been in. So I'm not one to talk here. So yeah. Yeah. So apparently we're not going anywhere. Flo? Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say something, Flo.
No, I was just saying faithful and loyal Ron.
That's right. All of us.
True or false?
Really? You can come up with something, right, Flo? Is there a single thing that Apple could do that you'd be like, okay, Android, I know we've been together for a long time, but I'm out.
No, but I was going through my photos the other day, as one does during quarantine when you're just thinking about life. You have a lot of time to think. And I was reminded that I used to have an iPhone back in the 4S days. And I didn't know who I was back then. I didn't know who I was during that time of my life. So,
I mean, it was a time of experimentation. You were kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to experiment. Going to play the field, see how it goes over there in Apple Land.
I remember how excited I was to finally have access to Instagram. And then Instagram finally came to Android. And then I was just like, that's it. I'm going. So I guess Apple would have to come out with something that all my friends are on. Not iMessage.
I mean, I was going to say they already did.
I was going to say iMessage. Yeah. That would be the thing. If that's not going to work, then I don't know what will.
They would have to block my friends into iMessage so that I couldn't talk to them.
Oh, that's interesting. So if they truly put a gate around Apple users that you had to be on the platform in order to contact them, that's I mean,
then that would be the reason that I wouldn't want to go to Apple, because I'm like, screw you for making me make that choice.
And then I would protest until we sue them for antitrust, because honestly, what?
Well, a decision like that wouldn't last long. Not only is it user hostile, but then to your point, it would be antitrust. Like, I wouldn't put it past Apple, but I feel like if they were going to do that, they would have done it by now.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. And thank you, Chad. It's so awesome getting you on the show and being able to just throw some congratulations your way and just see you again. You're always such a smiling, happy, positive person, and I enjoy your presence.
And Chad, I love your background. I love the vaporwave theme that you have going on. I love the call out to synthwave with the sunset background.
Yeah. Listen, Flo, you don't get to 1 million subscribers without a good background and good lighting setup. So he's a pro. We're amongst greatness here.
So. And so wait, Chad, is this a green screen that we're looking at? Or is this your real background?
No, that's the real background, and I can change it. So I'll change the lights and
it's practical effects.
Yeah, we could do. Ooh, the cops are coming. Here they come.
Oh, that's a good one to do tonight.
Show them the green screen.
Probably not.
Show them the green screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then the green screen's up here.
Oh.
There it goes.
Oh, look at that.
And then I got a different shot for that, so I could switch.
I'm so inspired, Chad. I really am, and I mean this sincerely.
There you go. So this is the green screen shot. I do the lights differently for the green.
Sure, you have to. Yeah.
There you go.
This
is the lighting for the green screen.
Dream.
This should have been the All About Android shot for you there, Chad. We should have been this from go.
Yeah,
I'm very Android out right now.
Put anything we want back there.
Yeah,
like you do for your show. And I'm sure every time you connect with someone from that studio, you have to go through the same dance.
Oh my gosh!
Wow,
that's
really amazing.
Oh, whoops! Yeah, here, right. I switched it back. It takes there's a laggy moment where it switches between. Yeah, so that's what my cats come in here and wreak havoc. So I have this little baby gate here to stop them from coming into this room when I don't want them in here.
I'm surprised it stops them because cats. Anyway,
and there's a curtain on it as well. So there's not a curtain, but I guess a curtain. Yeah, I have here. I can go over and show.
I love to see. I'm sorry, everyone who is listening in. They're like, "What are you doing, Flo?" But for the video feed, I love to look behind the scenes. It's my favorite. It's my favorite part of it's amazing.
There you go.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Of course.
That's right. Chad, if people want to find you, of course, your YouTube channel, youtube.com/OMG Craft. You have a couple of YouTube channels, but that's your primary one for what?
That's
for what
the big one.
Right.
Yeah. So that one is the one with over 1 million subs, and I post on there the most. You're watching the little channel video of me going through the 1 mil sub story of kind of how I got started. That was me in high school with the long hair. LOL. Yeah. So anyway, that's the big channel. I still do the GizWiz, which was started on TWiT. So head on over to gizwiz.tv to find out more about that. Me and Dickie D have been going strong with that, and you can support that show on Patreon. And that's basically it. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, but youtube.com/OMGcraft. Thanks so much for having me, guys. It was great to be back. It was fantastic.
Chad's the best. Big fan of Chad since day one.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to All About Android. Are you pumped? Are you ready? It's episode 476, and we're recording on Tuesday, June 9th, 2020, can you feel it? The Android energy is thick in this room. Oh yeah, we've got the latest news, we've got the latest hardware, and we've got the latest apps. I'm Jason Howell.
And I was not prepared for that sort of intro. I'm Ron Richards.
Yeah. Who are you?
Florence,
I feel like I was supposed to have read an email that I missed.
I just took off Jason's cues, put the lip gloss in my mouth. You know,
Flo did a yes and where I stopped the scene, and yeah. So this is why I don't do improv. Wow, Jason, that's great. I love the energy. Let's keep that energy up throughout the entire show if we can.
Certainly
entire time, Ron. I'm telling you, Android 11's going to be big. No, I can't do that the entire time.
That's going to hurt your voice. Yeah, that's
I was about to say, you want to keep that throat intact.
Oh yeah.
It would be equally awkward if my internet does what it normally does and just starts stuttering and everything. Then you'd be really confused. So let's not go down that road. Let's just have a normal episode all about Android. Good to see you guys. We're gonna have a lot of fun today.
Jason.
Oh my goodness!
Whoa!
That masked villain.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
I believe that was the eye of Burke.
For the audio listeners, Burke just popped in. Burke's eyebrow popped in for a quick second via camera. Not sure where he is. We know what he's doing, but
he's got to get on the show somehow. His eyebrow, that's good enough. All right, well, what do you say we dive into this amazing news?
Yes.
Burke did it.
Wallpapers might break your phone. My boots definitely will.
Oh, that's true. Okay, a little TWiT backstory here.
Oh,
TWiT. TWiT was it CES? I think it was CES years ago.
It was something in San Francisco.
Oh, was it in San Francisco? Okay, so maybe like Pepcom or something like that. And Burke was there with the TWiT crew, and there was a phone. We probably told this story on the show before, but there was a phone that was like air quotes indestructible, and Burke wears some boots that apparently destroy indestructible things because he asked them if he could test that, threw it on the ground and stomped on it, and for sure he broke the phone. So
that's how you do it.
That's the power of Burke. The power of Burke compels
really into this Burke cam for what it's worth.
I know.
It's really disturbing. So for our audio listeners, Burke is rarely on camera. And in this particular case, as opposed to being on camera, he's chosen to just zero in on his eye, which is you kind of see into his soul. So I would encourage you to go to YouTube and search for All About Android episode 476, and you can see Burke's eye. So there
it's
you
kind
go.
of like we know
subscribe.
a little too, you know.
Subscribe while you're there, please.
Yeah, that'd be great. We love it when you do that. That's one.
Welcome back, Jason. Did you have a good trip?
Thank you.
Welcome back. We missed you.
I had a good trip. I'll just go ahead and give you just a real quick blurb of my week. We went camping into into the mountains a couple hours away from Petaluma. Our friends own acres and acres of land. They were like, "Here, there's no one up here. Just go camping, have fun." And we have another friend who had a trailer. He was like, "Sure, borrow our trailer." It was my first time driving a trailer and pulling it behind our Sequoia. Little did we know that the roads were super narrow and totally like all dirt roads. And I ended up running the trailer off the side of the road. The road literally collapsed under the weight of the trailer.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody was okay. And actually at the end of the day, like net result is I wasn't out a penny. We were able to get it out of the place that it fell. We were able to fix a few things that were wrong with it. And, all smiles. So I have a ton of stories from it. That was my
oh my gosh. See, that doesn't happen here in New York City often.
Well, that never happens to me except for last week. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, but you had a nice time camping. It was nice. It was, it
was a blast. Like it was such a memorable trip. Even though like tons of stuff went wrong. But when we finally got there and we opened the door, I was like, 3 hours getting this trailer out of from off the side of the road. I'm going to open a beer. And I opened up the door to go into the trailer. The refrigerator door had swung open and all the food was everywhere. It literally could have been a movie, basically, is what I
was just going to say. It's like, it's almost comedic in that regard, right? Like it's like a sitcom.
Even more so, the night before, my daughter had made us a chocolate cream pie. We ate half of it. The other half was in the fridge. What do you guess made the most mess? It was all over the curtains, chocolate cream pie everywhere. So anyways, I had a good week. How about you?
We should pause for a moment for the chocolate cream pie. A moment of silence. Yeah,
I agree.
I love chocolate cream pie. It was so difficult to see it smeared on the ground with a bunch of cashews and broken glass. But
we didn't have any chocolate cream pie, but we had the second episode of the new All About Android, and it was a blast. We missed you, but I thought Flo did a great job running the show.
You did a great job too, Ron. And so did our guest, David Ruddock from Android Police. He was great as well.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's right.
But excited for the three of us to dive into the stuff today.
And we got a lot of stuff to dive into, so why don't we do that with the help of Burke at the TWiT studio. It's time for some news, Burke.
I think we should ban camping. Here's Android news.
No. That's not at all what I was saying. No.
I like the concept of Burke coming in with really controversial opinions during the Android news intro that have nothing to do with Android.
I just think it's interesting Burke came up with that opinion because, Burke, you originate from the area where there is ample camping in Northern California.
Look, it's not up for discussion.
Okay. Look, he's got a thing against camping, it sounds like.
Apparently.
So, no comments.
Just don't go there. You might set Burke off. And that's one thing that I know about Burke. You don't want to set him off. It's ugly. Oh, yeah. It's the three of us today rocking it. Yeah. Rocking it to Papa Roach.
No, we're not.
No, don't. No, I'm sorry I brought that in the pre-show. You know, I'm just like, I'm at that age now where I keep trying to like relive my childhood.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought you guys into that Twilight Zone. I should have just let you remain in your, I mean, we're already, I don't know. I guess anything is better than our reality.
Just keep digging, Flo. Just keep digging.
Look, Flo, I guarantee you, if you were to look back in any one of our kind of musical closet, you would find skeletons in there. I'm trying to think of who my skeleton
Not me. Not me.
No?
Oh, okay, Ron. Okay.
Everything from your musical history is spot on.
Nothing but cool jams from the moment I was self-conscious in terms of music.
Sure. Yeah.
My first cassette tape was Quiet Riot, Mental Health. Yeah. See, there you go.
That's a good first cassette tape. Gotta say.
Good record. Come on, feel the noise. That's a good song.
Come on, feel the noise. Good pick. I couldn't tell you what my first cassette was. My first CD was, I think it was an Anthrax CD. Anthrax, Persistence of Time.
That's very on brand for you.
My first CD was Sgt. Pepper's, which I feel like is a formidable first CD. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, I'll own Persistence of Time, by the way. But what about you, Flo?
Mine was the Free Willy soundtrack.
It is. Says so much about you.
It had that SWV song on there that was really good, and that Michael Jackson song was, I loved that as a kid for some reason. I just really loved it.
My first vinyl record was probably Disco Mickey.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I gotta Google this.
Because I was born at an age where you bought kids records because we had record players, and also there was Sesame Street, Disney. They all had disco versions of their songs. Yeah. And Disco Mickey was the top of the charts.
I have to find this. I have to find these disco things for my kid. I feel like this is a good. Well, I know what I'm doing this week.
There's a great, and I apologize to the listeners of the show. I know you came here for Android news and discussion, but there is a track on Disco Mickey called Macho Duck, and it's about Donald Duck, and it's set to the sound of Macho Man.
Yes.
And Macho Duck. And then he's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
I thought when you mentioned Disco Mickey, that is possible that I had it. But once you mentioned Macho Duck, I know that I did.
Yep.
I had a record.
I don't think that song was legally cleared, by the way. I don't think that was legally okay. I guess it's parody. But sorry, Jason, you had a record.
This was a really, really good laugh. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I was just saying I had a record that was called Jason, and it was a song that was just to me.
Oh.
And it was a guy singing something about Jason, like, Jason, you're very special, that sort of stuff. It was a little 7-inch It required the big adapter.
The thing. Yeah,
like one of those things you buy at the theme park that they make for you while you're waiting for the ride.
Victor in our chat, our behind the scenes chat said, "What about the Star Wars disco record?" I also had that. It was a disco remix of the Star Wars theme by Migo or something like that.
Not good.
Oh, it was great. And I also had the Sesame Street disco record, which was Disco Grover. And it was a Saturday Night Fever parody, and you had Grover in a white suit. Really into the children's disco record.
I had the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Star Wars and other galactic funk.
That's a good sound.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Oh, I love it.
It's just kiss right here. This is a good time for us to kind of just segue into Android 11 and just sort of think about the things that feel really normal to us in a time of so much uncertainty. One of those things is wondering if desserts were still around, Dave, and you still had an internal name for Android 11 based on a dessert, where would we be right now? It being, I believe, R. We have some ideas of our own, Rocky Road, Red Velvet, but we're wondering if there's anything official going around that you guys were using. Just kind of refer to the latest beta.
I was gonna make some really bad joke about trying to tie it to a certain virus that we're all familiar with, but that would be bad. SARS? No. No. So first of all, we have moved to numbers officially, and so I need to keep my marketing folks happy, and we are turning it up to 11, as you know, so it's Android 11. However, if you were to ask an engineer on my team, what are they working on? They would say RVC. And so RVC is Red Velvet Cake.
So there it is.
The thing is, though, I don't know. And I was asking one of our engineering managers today, I was like, is RVC going to appear anywhere? Like when we drop open source code? And he's like, no, I think it's going to say R. So now I'm kind of disappointed because our vernacular is RVC, and so we gotta. And I'm not allowed my marketing team to make a statue with Red Velvet Cake. So I need some kind of way to go rogue. So if you have any ideas, let me know. We'll get it in there somewhere.
It always works to have a hidden tap sequence in there that will reveal some sort of RVC related kind of explosion. So sneak that in there if you can.
We're speaking the language of Dan Sandler, calling Dan Sandler. So we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I'm hoping you guys will, do a little background noise for me.
Oh.
That's
right. I was totally blanked. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what kind of music?
I try hard every week to overproduce this show because I don't know why, but thank you all for dealing with me. Of course.
What if we just got the song completely wrong? Just all of a sudden, just like, we're no strangers to love.
That's the wrong song. All right. Last week on the show, we talked about the news that the Pixel 4a had released, not released. It had been announced. It's going to be released on August 20th, I believe. So you still have a little more than a week to wait if you want to spend $350 on a very mid-range device by Google. And then I ended up getting a device, the Pixel 4a, like a day later. So it came a day late to miss the show, unfortunately.
It's our life story here at All About Android, by the way.
I know. It's just the way it goes. But I have it. I've been playing around with it. I'm going to be giving this the full review treatment on Hands on Tech next Monday. But I've been playing around with this Pixel 4a quite a bit. I mean, I've got my SIM card loaded in there. I've been relying on it. And so far, I mean, I feel like the reviews have been incredibly positive on this, as they were to the 3A last year. And as I definitely consider 3A one of the best phones, in my opinion, of last year for a variety of reasons. This phone is right there as well. Like, I got to say, I'm pretty verklempt. Like, it's just been a great device, and I haven't really missed not being on my 4XL as a result. So just real quick kind of like first look, it has the plastic unibody design that is really kind of I don't know, dull, I suppose, but you're not buying this for style points, let's just say. It still kind of has the pixel quality to it, but it is a plastic unibody design. I took it camping and definitely got jostled around a few different times, and it took a beating, and I couldn't really find any marks on it. I thought it was a good kind of endurance test while I was camping to rely on this. I was pretty happy with that. 5.8-inch AMOLED 1080p display, 60 hertz refresh, so they're not doing anything fancy with like a high refresh rate or anything. Has the Snapdragon 730 on the inside, 6 gigs of RAM for $350. I feel like that is incredibly reasonable. And then 128 gigs of storage. So you don't find multiple configurations of the Pixel 4a. It's just this one configuration that I have in my hands right here. 12.2 megapixel rear facing camera, single lens up there, f 1.7 aperture, and then an 8 megapixel front facing camera, which is the little hole punch camera up at the top. And then, a little bit of the extras like the headphone jack. So it has an analog headphone port up at the top, USB-C, bottom firing speakers, 18-watt fast charge. And yeah, I mean, this phone is, if you've been considering waiting for the 4A because you knew that the 3A was as solid as it was for its price, well, then you're probably delighted to know that this is $50 less than the 3A was. So it's $350, and it gets most of the things right. On my early review anyways, it gets most of the things right that it really needed to land, right? The camera's great, it's svelte, it's light, it takes a beating, the display is sharp, the battery life is excellent. So I'm going to give this a full review here very soon, but I just wanted to kind of get this on the show briefly and just say, like, I'm really enjoying using this device and I don't miss my other device. And I know from my perspective that when I'm using a device and I find myself not missing, like not wanting to go back and be like, but I just want to go home, then it's a good device, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. So yeah, that's the Pixel 4a. You guys got any experience or any questions with it?
I gotta admit, seeing it up close like this, it really does seem like the 2020 Nexus 5.
Yeah, right.
It's simple, understated, black, just, it gets the job done. It just, I don't know. It does have echoes of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it has the fingerprint sensor on the back. I will say, like, I've actually kind of missed the face scanning that I have on the Pixel 4 XL. I realize how solid I feel like they've dialed it in on the 4 XL. Having said that, I don't mind having a rear-facing fingerprint sensor at all. I definitely prefer it over the in-display fingerprint sensor, so I'm happy that they went with that. It's nice to it feels a little retro because, and it doesn't take long for things to fall into retro land. It wasn't very long ago that we had rear-facing fingerprint sensors on everything. But yeah, and also like the feeling of the phone, kind of when I first took it out of the box and put it in my hands, like it's just a lot smaller. It kind of felt like my instant reaction was, oh, this feels like a Nexus phone from the days of yore. So for whatever that's worth, but I don't know. I think it's a pretty nice device. So
did they have to just make it in black? They could have just throw a color chip into the manufacturing liquid, just make it.
Well, I mean, they have a color power button. It's like a very, very, very light kind of blue. I don't know if it even comes out.
It looks white. Yeah, it looks white on that. But
in person, it's kind of like a very light turquoise blue. So there's your color splash.
I guess that's black is whoa.
It's very close to Jason.
So yeah.
Well,
we had to bump up our recording time a little bit because of the threat of rolling blackouts. So cross your fingers, nothing happens during the recording of this show.
It's that time of year in the Bay Area.
It's getting old.
I can't say I miss it, to be honest. I do miss the Bay Area, but I don't miss the PG&E aspect of it.
The PG&E aspect. Also, like, my wife left earlier, and then she sent me a photo of the hills. Apparently, there's a fire in the distance and smoke billowing, and it really is just kind of like the new reality here in this part of California, where fires are a constant threat.
it literally feels like it was last year when this was happening. Time flew by, but also
but
feels
see,
like an eternity.
This is just because everybody's using their AC and they're trying to keep energy usage down. The other thing that happened is we actually had thunder and lightning, which Jason, you captured like marvelously with the Pixel 4a, and that was super unprecedented, super that's not Bay Area weather. We don't get thunder and lightning storms, and it's been a little. I hate to say this, it might sound like hyperbole, but it's been a little apocalyptic.
Yeah,
I'm kind of feeling it. I'm kind of feeling that. So
I mean, I grew up with thunder and lightning storms. That New York gets them in the summer all the time. We just had some a couple of weeks ago, and big, huge, worm burner lightning bolts and the noise and stuff like that. It's never settling. You're never okay with it. So
okay, that's good. That's good to hear because I've been getting a little guff from my Midwestern friends about the fact that we're having weather.
Yeah. Well, they deal with tornadoes. We don't have to deal with tornadoes.
I'm scrambling trying to get you guys this link to this one shot that I got that I'm just super.
That shot that you took was amazing.
Is that the really good one?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Let's
see. Okay.
Jason,
Burke, it's in the doc. It's either in chat or it's in cell 10, C10. It's a drive link. And so at 4 a.m., suddenly there was just this insane lightning storm for about 2 solid hours rolling through. And I went outside with the Pixel 4a and just started snapping night sight shots and just playing around with it and everything. And, I probably took like 100 shots over the course of an hour.
Okay, I was going to ask.
Out of those, I ended up with maybe 5 or 6 that came away with anything. But I mean, this one was just like, how did a phone capture that? Like, that is awesome.
That's
amazing. That is super awesome.
If Google needs an ad for the 4A, it's that photo.
Yeah, exactly. For the unprecedented thunder lightning storm. Did you just point and shoot, or did you think to get a tripod at like 4 a.m? Because I groggily got out to watch it too, but I was too groggy to grab my phone.
Yeah, I was like wide awake once it started, and I was worried that I was just going to be up through the morning. I ended up going back to sleep. I did not get a tripod, but I did kind of perch up on my fence and kind of hold it as steady as possible. So I wasn't just holding it in thin air. I had it propped up against a fence, and I was trying to stand there perfectly still. And some of those exposures were like 2 to 3 minutes open. But the way Google does, it's actually an interesting kind of thing that I learned about Night Sight. The way it does it, it's really kind of this amalgamation blending of all these frames together, but not in the sense that like an open exposure in like a point and shoot camera would be. That one, it would be like a dark sky, and then every lightning bolt would be an imprint on the final image. And this one, sometimes those lightning bolts would come through, and I'm like, oh yay, that's going to look amazing. And then when I hit stop, it was just a bright like a lit scene. There was no actual lightning bolt there. So it's interesting to see how Google's algorithm with Night Sight actually worked. And what I realized in the end was keep it open until a lightning bolt comes through, and I get the preview for that lightning bolt that appears like a couple of seconds later in that like growing shot, and then let go. And that meant more times than not, I actually got a lightning bolt shot out of it. So fascinating. It was neat.
What an interesting way to do that experiment and to learn that about the Pixel 4a. I mean, those are the moments that Google is marketing for. So
yeah, right.
You got to put it to the test when you can.
And I mean, not to mention, like, by the way, this is with the Pixel 4a, a $350 device.
Yeah.
Pretty remarkable.
By the way, can you hold up the 4a again, Jason? Again, I know this is more a byproduct of how tall you are, but the 4A looks tiny in your hand.
Hi, little guy.
It's very tempting. We're gonna talk later in the news block about how the temptation of the 4A.
Who needs a two display Android device right now when we're at home? That's like
I'll tell you who does.
Multitasking.
I'll tell you who does. Anybody who owns this.
I want it.
Whoa. Do you notice any notifications? Do you notice any information on this is the Microsoft Surface Duo, and
nothing on
closed,
the outside.
You wouldn't even know it's a phone.
It
could be a
looks like
Moleskine
my
notebook.
Casio from back in the day, my little Casio PDA.
And if you want notifications,
that device has been one of the most hotly discussed conversations with some of my friends about not knowing whether or not they actually need it, but feeling like they want it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it. That's why I spent $1,400.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay, Leo.
It's okay. And that's been the real obstacle, is that price tag.
Yeah. And honestly, given what this is, which is it's an Android device with 2 screens, it's like a little booklet, and there's some really neat and elegant ideas in it. It's certainly a beautiful bit of hardware. Yeah. But given what it is, the fact that there's no wireless charging, there's no NFC, it's not waterproof. Without NAC, you can't support Android Pay, Google Pay. You can't. I mean, it's got the worst camera since the Essential phone.
Oh no!
Given all of that, it would be you'd be pretty hard pressed to say, "Oh, I'm going to spend $1,400, even $800 for this, and this could be my primary phone." I don't think it actually would work as your primary phone very well. I mean, it's not just that you get no notifications when it's closed. You know what it is? It's a fetish object. It's a wonderful tech fetish object. And it is in that regard. I mean, when you feel it, it's absolutely premium. They did a lot of work, I think, to make it super thin. I actually have the bumper on it, which you probably don't need, but it just makes it a little bit more grippy.
You spent $1,400. You got to put the bumper on it.
Yeah, no kidding, because it's glass inside and out. But these are nice. These are LG OLED screens. You've seen these screens on other phones. It's a beautiful screen. Nothing shabby. It's interesting. There's bezels, but there's not a big hinge in the middle. But you still don't think of it as a single screen. And I'll show you. I'll open the Edge browser, for instance. And so let's go to TWiT just so we have a nice. I should have set this up ahead of time. But so that's, if you were using it as a regular phone, it'd be a weird 3:2 aspect ratio. So it's kind of like
an
fat.
Nexus 6.
Yeah, it's kind of fat for a regular phone. Short and fat, squat. It's stocky. That's problem number one. And then, by the way, when you close it like that, this goes blank.
Okay.
Intentionally. It's because this is the phone. And honestly,
somebody on the other side would be reading your notifications otherwise,
Yeah. Right. You don't want that. But then if I want to make this take 2 screens, I bring it over. These are the gestures. And I think a lot of reviewers didn't spend enough time with it to kind of get used to it. Because once you get used to it, the gestures make sense. They're not as janky as they seemed when I first got it. And I've only had it since Thursday. So now you see the website goes across with a slight, and then if you turn it sideways, this is one problem. The accelerometer is not great, but it's now a longer thing. But then you have to have this bar in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And that actually is obscuring stuff. It's not like, watch my head, okay? See, my forehead's missing. Oops.
Yeah.
My forehead's missing.
Well,
it's not that there's the top of my head.
There's just a line that separates the top and the bottom and pushes the images out.
Look at it.
So your head is like stretched as a result.
I don't think so. I think it's actually cutting it out. It's actually going to do a crossword puzzle if there's any characters on that.
Yeah, it looks a little cut off. It does.
Yeah.
I see it.
If there's any characters on the crossword puzzle, look, my eyes will disappear. They shouldn't disappear, right? It looks like I'm in the witness protection
that's
program.
Interesting. Okay.
So that means that's a little weird. Like that was a decision Microsoft made. They could have had it be continuous with just a gap, but no. And that is a little bit of a problem because I was doing a crossword puzzle, and you can't. There's pieces
what is the
missing
thing right there? What is the word?
Yeah. So that's a little weird. Although, so it's not a fold. It's not like, oh, this is one big screen with a hinge. It's close, but honestly, I don't think people are going to do this very often. What you're going to do more often, and by the way, the gestures, if you're used to Android, you have to get used to it. So to get back to home, you tap, you don't swipe up. Swiping up, I don't know what it does. It gives you other things. It gives you the most. See, it's easier just to hit the recents button and get the recents. Those are the recents. And you can swipe away and stuff like that.
So they've implemented their own gesture approach aside from what we're kind of used to from Android 10 and 11.
If you're coming from Android, it's going to be, and I think that's what a lot of the reviewers thought. Now, this is the Microsoft launcher. There is some nice stuff. You see if I swipe over all the way. It's kind of weird because this is the home screens go across, right? Like that.
Oh,
you swipe over all the way left. Just like on Pixel, you have a kind of a all about, a status board, and it says "Good evening, Leo." It has the date. It'll have my calendar on there. That's another problem. Only the Microsoft apps right now are designed to work in the unique way that this phone works. And so if you're living as I'm not in the Microsoft world, I don't use Outlook for my mail. Right. Outlook works great on this because with Outlook, I'll show you real quickly. When I go to a dual screen on Outlook, and again, you go dual screen by drag, and you have to get it.
Oh, that's nice.
Into the center.
That's a nice gesture.
Yeah, and then now, you get used to it pretty quickly. And now when I look at mail, when I open a mail, this is the list of mail, and this is the mail, the actual email. So like there are some uses.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you see, I think there's some things on this you go, that's so cool. Here's another one. These are groups that you make. You can connect any two apps.
Yeah.
For instance, this is my chess study group. So I have a Kindle book on the right here. And as I'm playing through the game, this is the best chess wallet I've ever had for $1,400.
All right. It's email time. Actually, it's email and voicemail time. Starting with you, Flo.
Hi, all about Android crew. This is Peter Keefe calling in from Connecticut. I just wanted to point out another unfortunate side effect of the Google Play Music to YouTube Music transition. When you ask to play some videos from YouTube, sometimes it'll actually open up on YouTube Music instead of playing the video from YouTube. Listen to this. Hey, Google, play Sesame Street from YouTube on Living Room TV.
Sure, Sesame Street from YouTube Music. Playing on Living Room TV.
Now, obviously, when I want to play this for my kids, I don't want the music to show up. I want to watch the videos. So, anyway, thanks for the show. Bye.
That stinks. I don't know what to say other than that. I mean,
there are so many instances that they are trying to make this system work. And the actual practical application of it between YouTube Music and Google Assistant and all these things happening, the number of times. So like I have 2 Google Home devices and a Shield TV in my house. The number of times that I'm in the kids' bedroom, they're screaming, I want to put on a song to get them to calm down. And I say, hey, G, play, the Unbirthday song from Alice in Wonderland. And then Google goes, do you want to play this on Shield TV? I'm like, no, I don't. Play it on the device that I'm talking to you on. Like right. It's trying to anticipate what you're doing, but oh man, it's a mess. It's a mess.
So I couldn't respond because I had to go, and that whole thing actually triggered my smart speaker because I did not mute it, and we were playing Sesame Street on the living room television.
Oh no. Oh boy, I'm sorry, Flo.
It's okay. I happen to have the exact same capabilities that was said in that whole command, and it worked. It worked. So, and it did, by the way, go to YouTube Music, not YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. And
that's
when I went into the Home app, it showed me it as media music. You know how sometimes it'll differentiate between what media you're. Yeah.
Boy, that was an interactive voicemail.
It was. We'll try and bleep that out for those of you listening to this recording.
It's easily done. Yeah. Easily done. Not a problem. And now, this is a pretty fun one. It's time for the email of the week. Okay. Paul Mateo says that he is an avid watcher. And this is a little back and forth, but I'll read you the first email to start here. He says, I saw your last show about the Razer Burn. I have one even better. I ordered a Z Fold2 direct from Samsung. Long story short, when I opened the package, I found 2 cans of tuna fish in the box. Imagine my surprise. After about 3 days of back and forth with Samsung, I did receive a refund. The look of the package and how it was sealed led me to believe that it must have happened at Samsung.
What?
So I replied,
that's fascinating.
I replied, this sounds fake. Pics or it didn't happen.
Oh,
and
nice.
Paul replied with an image, and we got that linked to in the doc here. Paul says, here's the picture. They were glued to the bottom of the box. And Burke will pull this up here, and we'll show you the photographic proof. 2 cans of tuna fish glued to the bottom of a box of a Z Fold 2. This picture, according to the oh, sorry.
Is it American tuna fish or Korean tuna fish?
Yeah.
That is a question that I was not aware enough to ask, although we're enhancing a little bit. I don't know. Maybe we can.
It does look like Asian,
Asian fish.
Yeah, it looks Korean. It does look Korean. Yep.
Okay. I did look at. I mean, I tried to find the tags, and there were no tags that gave me a whole lot of information. The file name was structured such that it looked like the picture was taken November 2nd. So it wasn't something, I mean, that would be very easy to fake. But if Paul did fake it, he was with it enough to change the file name structure so that it was a date that wasn't today, because that would be easy to fake.
Jason, just
I replied back. I replied back and said, "This is just so bizarre. It's hard to comprehend. Did Samsung have any explanation for how this would happen? Did you order another device? Did you eat the tuna?"
And that was the question that I wanted to know about immediately. So I'm glad you asked that, Jason. Thank you.
Yes.
I know the answer.
Well, yeah, it's in the doc.
Oh, never mind then.
So of course you know the answer, Burke.
I didn't see that part of the doc yet.
Oh, okay. Well, Paul replied. He said, "No explanation provided. Did get a refund. Still planning to get the device, but I'll go through Best Buy instead. Tuna packed in oil. Prefer packed in water, so no, didn't eat it." There we go.
There it is.
It must have happened. I'm still not convinced, but it must have happened, right?
This is like that time that lady ate the Chili's at Wendy and found human body part in there.
What?
Exactly the same.
I suppose things like this do happen, but
it's so weird.
Somebody totally ripped them off. Like they intercepted it in shipping, and then they put something back in the box so it's heavy enough.
Yeah.
Some pissed off employee or something. Somebody was just like, you know what? This is freaking cool. I'm going to take it.
This is from Samsung. Oh, this is totally a Galaxy Z Fold 2. What am I going to put in there? Well, there's my bag of groceries. Let's see. Some tuna fish. That'll work.
Well, that's like this reminds me of in the early 90s. What's the statute of limitations? Is it long enough? Should I tell the story?
Depends. I don't know, but I think it depends.
When Super Nintendo came out and Street Fighter 2 came out, that was a $75 cartridge. All right. And so I was, 8th, 9th grade or whatever. And so, so one of my friends bought it, and then we had access to a shrink wrap machine. So we first put in another game that my friend didn't want anymore and returned it to Toys R Us and got $75 back, and then realized, why are we putting cartridges in these boxes? We can just keep returning.
Oh my God.
So have you identified the point in your life in which karma got its revenge on you?
I mean,
has it not happened yet?
Honestly, it's been a long 25. It's been a long 30 years since this happened. So
Ron, that was very beautiful and anti-establishment of it, and I love you for it. And sure, Toys R Us is now out of business, but it's not your fault because you did this so many years ago.
Not my fault. They did cash refunds.
Oh my God. Oh my God,
Ron! I'd just like to say that you are not the only person who might have hypothetically done something like that.
Right.
Oh, Burke.
This is a thing.
Burke is coming through.
This is a thing. Holy cow! Well, it was a long time ago.
I had to buy comic books somehow, so that's how.
Listen, you guys, since we're all confessing things here, let me say sometimes shipping is wrong. When it's sent to me, I'll get extra of something, or I'll get something I didn't actually order. Like it's just in my order, and I keep it. I don't send it back.
You rebel. Jason's done nothing like any of this, by the way.
Six hand towels, and I got 12.
If there's the spectrum the spectrum of good between me scamming Toys R Us and then Flo keeping items that were shipped to her that she shouldn't get. Jason is on the far end where Jason will actually, like, if something is misdelivered, Jason will hand deliver it to the right house to make sure it got there okay.
Correct.
This is just not at all where I thought this email was going to go, but I'm glad that it did. I've learned something about you too, and about myself. I'm trying to figure if I got some skeletons in the closet here. I mean, no.
Jason,
no, I'm
don't
clean.
ruin it. Don't ruin it for yourself. You have a role that you fulfill on this show.
It's to pull out the best in both of you, right?
Yeah, let's keep it there. We need you to be the actual moral compass.
All right. I'll be the moral compass. Just today, though, I'll be the wholesome one, as Robot in chat says. Paul, thank you for a memorable email of the week. That was awesome.
Good for you.
First of all, I love that we have the emailer of the week, the email of the week segment on the show. We knew we wanted to do something special for certain emails that come through, and that segment has not disappointed. And second, how could I not include a clip of someone receiving a couple of cans of tuna when they think they're getting the Z Fold2 of all phones? Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this collection of clips from throughout the year 2020. Undoubtedly, there were more to find, but I was able to pull these together, and I thought it was a pretty nice list of moments. I'm sure I missed some, though. And if I missed anything that's really breaking your heart, send me an email, AAA@twit.tv, and tell me about the things that I missed so that I can punch myself later. Big thanks to Florence Ion. Big thanks to Ron Richards. We've been doing this show together for so long now, and I adore them. I appreciate them. I'm so grateful that I get to do this show each and every week with the two of them and all the wonderful guests that we have. Also, a huge thanks to Victor, who's always doing the show behind the scenes and churning it out and editing it and having to go through all of these moments and pull them out for you so that you even have a 2020 best of to watch. So thank you, Victor, for everything. And a huge thanks to Burke in the studio for pushing the buttons, for putting us on the live stream, recording it, and making it possible for you to even see us in the first place. Couldn't do it without you, Burke. As for me, you know where to find me, at Jason Howell on Twitter. And I'm just going to keep it brief here. Thank you so much for watching. twit.tv/AAA is where you can go to subscribe so that you don't miss any of the future episodes as we venture into, can't believe it, 2021. Thank you so much for watching this year, and we'll see you on the next All About Android. Happy holidays, everybody.